welcome back to another episode of Bet GPT. This is episode 60, the big 60. And Slade, just off the top of your head, do you know the last time we released a pod? Do you know the date?
It had to be at least a few weeks.
It was 1 month and 1 day ago on June
Oh,
10th.
I
It
was
was our
gonna
double
I was
episode with
gonna make a
you.
joke about us like forgetting how to pod because it's been so long.
We just been enjoying the summer. Had a little bit of a summer hiatus. Been busy with a few things, traveling and whatnot, but
You're touring
it's time.
Arkansas for work every day.
Yeah, just so the people know, this morning I got up at 2:45 a.m. Central Time to fly home to catch my 5 a.m. flight, and now it's 6 p.m. or excuse me, it's 5 p.m. Pacific Time where I'm recording this podcast. So I'm making a lot of sacrifices. I'm doing this on little sleep, but I'm gonna get the job done. But as I was saying, it's almost football season, so it's time for us to lock back in. We figured now would be a good time to come on because we have the MLB All-Star break coming up next week. We can kind of talk about the first half of the season, kind of assess where things are at, talk about any maybe futures we like, and then obviously NBA free agency hit. We got the Olympics coming up. We're in the middle of tennis, so there's quietly a lot of things going on, and
Isn't
it's
there a
kind of
big golf
leading up.
tournament next week?
Yeah, there's the Scottish Open this week, and then we have the Open next week.
Okay.
So
We'll have
exactly.
to converse with Keel, see where his thoughts are. Um, yeah, we
Yeah.
we went to Bear's bachelor party, so we've seen some of our recurring guests. Austin Ash was there, Michael Bear, um, Brady, Charlie, Nicholas. We got to watch the Cubs actually score runs, so that was fun.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just been a busy month, so happy to get back into it. And football season is our favorite, and there's just more to talk about.
Yeah, and obviously with football season coming up too, we have the NCAA video game coming out, and rumor has it you finally secured a PS5. So if you want to, I guess give the listener some advice on how to obtain a PS5, let's start with that, and then we can get into the
Couple
content
things.
here.
I was gonna buy like that Spider-Man bundle a few months back because you could get the like disc version for 450. Like comes with the Spider-Man game, which I don't really care. But that was like, I don't know, maybe 2-3 months ago. And I was like, I'll just wait. And then I was like, I want to go to GameStop so I can trade in my PS4 and a couple games, hopefully get a discount. For my PS4 Slim, perfect condition, I got $55 back in trade in value. So if I just would have sold it to him straight up, I would have gotten like $40. Um, they gave me 20 cents for NBA 2K21, which I'm never going to
Nice.
use again. So I was like, take it. I forgot my HDMI cord. I get to the first store 15 minutes out of town, and they're like, yeah, our system isn't working. They're like, we'll send you to this other place, and that's 15 minutes away. We told them you're coming. I'm like, well, 15 minutes out of my way. So it's a 30 minutes out of town. So I drive 15 minutes there. A lady from the other store I was at beat me there. So she was in line in front of me. So I had to wait for her to check out. Then they charged me the $2 for not bringing my HDMI cord. I'm like, whatever. The guy talks me into buying the GameStop Pro subscription or whatever, so I get $5 in coupons a month or something. I don't know. It was $9. The guy negotiated with me. So it'd be 25. I got it for 9. I was like, whatever, do it.
You have to pay $9 every month for
No,
that.
it's $9 for the year, and I already canceled for next year. So it was like I was like, I guess I'll
Okay.
do it. I get $60 in coupons, and I get
Yeah.
10% boost on trade-in. So yeah, it worked out. I've got it sitting right next to me. I was gonna make a joke like we're gonna do like a giveaway if anybody can guess something like number of bowel movements Nicholas Bear has per day. If you can get the average of that, then you can get this free PS5. But
Mission Impossible. Yeah. There we have it. Yeah, you got to get that set up, and I'll give you some game reviews or some recommendations. You can use your GameStop cash.
yeah, the NC Dub comes in on I think the 19th. I'm not getting the 3 days early, but it's all right. Get patience is a virtue. It's gonna test me. I'm sure I'll have to stay off social media those few days so I don't get a bunch of spoilers and things. But I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I definitely won't be texting you those 3 days, telling you how fun it is.
Because you're
So
just
don't.
gonna download it or what?
I pre-ordered the
Oh,
deluxe.
okay.
Yeah, but anyway, we can talk some more NCAA later. Obviously, if any listeners want to play, shoot us a DM. We'd be happy to
Oh, I got to
set,
get
set some
PS
time up.
Network, don't I?
Yeah, the $80.
All right.
You gotta start driving Uber or something for all these expenses you're getting.
Hmm.
All right, or I guess instead, let's just make some money. This is a sports betting
Oh, that's
podcast,
right. I
so
need it. I had a rough
cheat
week on
code,
my dinger picks. I'm sure you're
cheat
happy to hear
code.
that.
All right, so MLB first half wrapping up. We have the All Star game. I believe it's next Tuesday or Wednesday. That's when the home run derby and an All Star game is. Just kind of looking at the MLB standings right now. Some decent races, some not so good races. Best one's probably going to end up being Orioles Yankees. Orioles are up 2 games in the AL East. Guardians up 4.5 on the Twins, who have quietly been one of the hotter teams in baseball. I think over the last like month and a half, they've had like a top 5 record in the MLB. AL West, we have the Astros slowly making their way up to the front. They are, what are they, 2 games behind the Mariners. Mariners just can't hit the ball. Phillies lead the NL East by 8.5 games over the Braves. Brewers up 5. Cubs are in last place, and the NL West Dodgers are running away with that. What are your thoughts on the first half of the season? Any big surprises? Any future plays you're leaning towards? Kind of where
I
you at
mean,
right now?
high level, I think the surprise is that the Phillies are taking that next step and the Brewers are even better than last year. Um, the Dodgers have some pitching concerns right now. I'm not super high on them. I think I sent you guys a tweet last night. It was like they have like 15 pitchers that are either on the IL or are struggling right now, or being sent down to like AAA. Like they're having some issues. Obviously Mookie's out, so I don't. I know they're running away with it, but they're only 4-6 in their last 10. They've lost 3 straight. Um, they're hitting a rough patch, and the Yankees are finally kind of finding their level a little bit. They're 3-7 in their last 10. I think they have an even worse stretch than that. I just only have their last 10 pulled up, but they've been pretty rough. Um, I mean, the MVP is looking pretty chalky. Judge, Otani, both like minus 300. Um, kind of
Yeah,
easy, both
I
numbers.
was gonna say let's go through all the awards real quick here. Kind of just rapid fire. Tell me who you think's gonna win, and then I guess if there's any value on someone else down the board, uh, what you think on that extent. So let me pull it up here. Obviously, we can start with AL MVP. Judge is the favorite here. There's actually markets up for um, like will they win MVP? Yes or no for both Judge and Otani. So I guess if that's
Hmm.
one way you'd like to attack it, it's possible. I'd feel better about the NL on to that extent because we do have Gunnar Henderson
Hmm.
in the AL. So pulling this up here, we'll use FanDuel odds. I'd suggest using FanDuel or DraftKings probably, but because they do stay up and update during games. So American League MVP Judge minus 300, Gunnar Henderson plus 350, then a huge drop off to Soto, Bobby Witt around 18 to 1.
I think you nailed it. There's no value down the board for the National League MVP unless there's an Otani injury. If
Yeah,
that's your strategy, by all means, I mean, go for it. I really don't even know who you would put it on because Bryce Harper has had his injury problems. Mookie's had his injury problems. I mean, Mookie was going crazy before he got hurt, but I think the second shortest odds are Bryce Harper at like 7-1, and he's not having like a Harper MVP caliber season. He can get hot at any time, but he's not going nuts or anything. He's 16th in WAR right now, behind a guy named Riley Green, who most casuals don't even know who that is.
yeah, and he's at plus 650, plus 700 ish. Freddie Freeman 12 to 1. Ozuna with domestic violence background 25 to 1. That's not going to happen.
No,
Ketel Marte 35 to 1. He's on a mid
Ellie
team.
De La
Then Lindor,
Cruz.
yeah, Lindor, who's not even on the All Star team, 45 to 1. So it's kind of Shohei's to lose. If he does get injured, it could get really interesting. Um, I guess Fernando Tatis, he has had a pretty good year, but he's battling injuries as well. That'd be kind of one longer shot. Maybe William Contreras if the Brewers can lock up a 1 seed and he hits really well the last couple months. But I'm kind of staying away from this market.
Yeah, I agree. I think the only name that really interests me at all would be Ellie De La Cruz down the board at like 80 to 1. And that's just because he has a chance to do something, historic with the stolen bases. But
Yeah,
I really don't see that happening. Like he's 80 to 1 for a reason.
yeah, I agree. Okay, so yeah, nothing in the NL. AL, I mean, it's going to be Judge or Henderson. I do think Henderson's live. I think if the Orioles win that division, which honestly, I'd like to just put this in the 6 pack right now. Orioles to win the AL East minus 130.
I
I
thought
think
do we
that
not have the Orioles in the 6 pack already? I mean, I'm fine
I'd have
with doubling down, but for some reason I thought we already had the Orioles in our preseason episode. But I didn't know if maybe we just didn't put it in the 6 pack.
our preseason plays. No, we do have the Guardians to win the Central. We have the Yankees to miss the playoffs. That was me. Marlins under 77.5. Cardinals under 85.5. Rangers under 89.5.
You
So
can cash that Rangers
nothing.
bet.
Yeah. Same with the Marlins. So yeah, if you want to check those bets out, it's on our 6 pack play tracker. We link it in the episodes. It's on our Twitter.
But
But
yeah, I
yeah,
like
every
that.
episode we add here. So yeah, so I want to add the Orioles here, and kind of my biggest thing here is one, they already have 2 games, even though they're about to get swept by the Chicago Cubs.
Hmm.
Um, they have so much farm system talent where if they want to make a move, no one's going to outbid them. If they actually want to do that this year, which maybe they don't, maybe they want to wait one more year, I think they go for it. No one's going to outbid them. They can get better, and there's no guarantee that the Yankees can get better. So that's why I lean the Orioles, and I'm betting them minus 130 here.
I completely agree. I was on that my own money. For some reason, I thought we already had them. I think we gave it out. We just didn't put it in the 6 pack. So
Yeah,
I didn't want to bring it up again, but I agree. I like the Orioles. I still think um, I don't really know why, but I just don't really trust Grayson Rodriguez over a full season. But yeah, I don't know. I think that their lineup is just too good, and they have an ace. And like you said, they're going to make a deal at the deadline. I don't know who it'll be. Maybe Garrett Crochet. I'm trying to think of what
yeah,
other arms would be available. He would obviously be the sexiest name, but they have what it takes to pull it off. So
yeah. That's kind of a good segue into the AL Cy Young. So the
wait, I want to
leader
go
in the
back real
clubhouse.
quick.
Yeah,
I know I'm higher than you on Bobby Witt, but I still think he's live. He's tied with Shohei Otani in wins above replacement. Um, he's really only behind Judge and Henderson. Obviously, he might need some injury luck, but I think he's live. I mean, 5.3. I mean, he's on pace for like an eight win season, which a lot of years would win you an MVP. I'm not saying
yeah.
he's 18 to 1. I just think that's a long number. He has longer odds than Juan Soto, and he's having a better year than Juan Soto. I get it, but at the same time, it's I think it's possible. I think there was only
I
4 guys who can win it.
I mean, I agree with you. He's deserving, but it's just the fact of matter of people love giving the Yankees award, so that's an automatic. If it's a tie, it's going to Judge. And then if Gunnar Henderson and the Orioles beat out the Yankees for the division, that's probably the tiebreaker there. So
Yeah, I
that's kind of
agree.
my thoughts. But
The only way is like the Orioles beat out the Yankees and then Gunner gets hurt or something. But
yeah,
that makes it really hard for them to get hurt. I've been betting in on Gunner pretty much anytime he falls because I think I don't think Judge should be minus 300. He can be the favorite. Minus 300 is pretty crazy when you're not even the leader in a lot of categories.
yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. Okay, AL Cy Young, Tariq Skubal plus 110, Corbin Burns of the Orioles plus 230, Seth Lugo's moving up the board at 9 to 1, Logan Gilbert, which I think is a throwaway, 17 to 1, and then Garrett Crochet 25 to 1. Um, I think it's going to be Skubal or Burns, but I guess we still have 2 months left in the season. I would probably lean Scooble, but I don't feel super confident about that. I'll go 51% Scooble, 49% Burns between those
Is
two.
Burns getting this love because of what he's done or because of what we think he will do? Because
Well, that's a good
he's
question
having
because
he's
yeah.
not having his numbers are not even like the best he's ever had. They're good. They're still elite. He's still top 10 statistically, but he is not having the type of season that gets you into that kind of conversation unless you're projecting like he's going to have a great season. And Chris Sale's kind of the same way. Chris Sale's having a really good year, and the NL pitching wise is not as strong, but he's getting treated like he's going to go on a run too.
So we've talked about this before, but this guy named Tom Tango, he has his like Cy Young predictor thing, his model, and his formula is innings pitched divided by 2 minus earned runs, and then plus strikeouts divided by 10 plus wins. So you do the math on that. But his website, he tallies it all up here. He has Seth Lugo at 53 points, Tariq Skubal 49, Corbin Burns 47, and then the first NL pitchers, Chris Sale and Zach Wheeler, both at 46. So he's got Seth Lugo up there. I mean, it's apparently he has predicted the last 7 winners. So that's something to keep an eye on, I guess. But Lugo definitely is live, I guess, according
Yeah,
to this.
which is crazy because I don't think he's that good. But we've seen
Yeah.
a Rick Porcello win a Cy Young, and
Oh my
who was
gosh.
that
Yeah.
guy from the Blue Jays a few years ago? Oh God, he got one.
Manova.
No, he won a Cy Young. Robbie Ray.
Yeah.
So like these like guys who are in the league for a while can just pop for 1 year. I guess this could be Seth Lugo's year. Um, it's hard to bet on that guy for some reason.
Yeah.
Garrett
It's
Crochet is nasty, but he's on the White Sox and he got hurt last year, so there's like talk of like limiting his innings. Plus, I do think that if you want to bet Garrett Crochet and you don't think he's going to get traded, you got to do it now because if he's a White Sox on August 1st, his odds are going to drop because part of the reason they're so long is because of the chance he gets traded to the NL and is no longer
yeah.
eligible.
Yeah.
So that's something to keep in mind when you see his numbers or his odds so long because he's got a 4 WAR. He's like second in strikeouts. He's pretty damn good.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. He's down here around the 10th best pitcher according to Tom Tango. Who's not on this list though, Paul Skeens. And this hasn't been updated for today,
Right.
but today he threw 7 no-hit innings with 11 strikeouts. Um, he's all but locked up the NL Rookie of the Year, and now he's trying to get the Cy Young. He's down to 12-1 to win the Cy Young, and then you have Wheeler and Chris Sale around plus 130
Yeah,
each.
this sucks, dude. We bet a lot of money on that NL, or at least I did. I bet a lot of money on the NL Rookie of the
Me
Year,
too.
and
Yeah,
for it to go to a pitcher who didn't even get called up till like late May and is going to be on an inning limit is going to suck because we know what's going to happen is he's probably going to barely pitch in September, but the narrative is going to be that he won already. And
yeah.
it won't matter if Merrill gets hot or if, I mean, Shota went 6 scoreless against the Orioles yesterday, but no one's going to care. There's zero hype
Those
about it.
those blow. He had those 2 or 3 poor starts.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
That and him being 31 does not bode well for him in a popularity
Yeah.
contest.
So do you think Skeens can win the Cy Young? I personally
No.
don't because his lack of innings, like you said, I think they'll. No one who's pitching 140 innings or less is winning
If they
the
give
Cy
it to
Young.
him, then they're trying to like the media is trying to build a narrative around him.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not next year though. Fine.
Chris Sale was 60-1, I believe, coming into the year. It makes me sick that we didn't get any on that, or at least I didn't.
I didn't
Um,
either.
yeah,
I got
Wheeler.
him. I got him 3-1 to win comeback player of the year. So that's the only Chris Sale exposure I have.
Gotcha. Yeah, they get a chance there. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't have much to say about NL Rookie of the Year. I mean, Jackson Merrill made the All-Star team too. Skeens, Merrill, and Imanaga, top 3 guys, all on the All-Star team. So that looks good. But like I said, just just the dominance by Skeens lately. I know I bet on him last week. I faded him against the Mets, and that was a huge mistake. Um,
You
I'm
know,
just waiting for him to blow up, and it's not happening.
it would be a shame if he got some like elbow soreness. Nothing
It'd be a
serious, but just miss like 2-3 weeks,
yeah,
a few
yeah,
starts. Would
yeah.
be really helpful.
He can just stay home with Livy Dunn. He'd be totally fine. Wouldn't even need to go to the PNC ballpark. All right, American League Rookie of the Year, Wyatt Langford, who probably the last time we recorded this podcast was 100-1.
He's
Which,
back.
dude, this happens every single year. You have to be able to snipe these numbers. He's plus 125 now. Luis Heel plus 195. He's slowly coming back down to earth. And then we have the battle of the mids: Colton Cowser, Rafaela, Willie Abreu, Mason Miller.
Yeah, just a total shit show in the AL. You got like 5 guys in the NL who would win the AL Rookie of the Year.
Yeah,
Um, I think we're gonna win that market, or for us personally, betting wise, I think we have that market cornered. I know, at least I do.
it's going to be Langford or Cowser, in my opinion. I don't think
Yeah,
Heel's
I
going to
don't.
win.
Me neither. I feel pretty good. I'm just gonna let it ride, and whatever happens, happens. But
Yeah,
there's no stars in that group besides potentially Langford, and he's not even having a great year.
no,
Here's
yeah.
a wait. One
I
quick
don't know.
question on that. Jackson Holiday is eligible for Rookie of the Year again next year, and
Yeah, I
unless
believe he.
I don't think he can come up and get enough games in. He's hurt
I
right
think it's like
now.
38 games, so I don't know when he can come back. It's something like that. Because Mason Miller came into this year like literally like one game under, so no one knew if he was eligible. But yeah, we'd have to check into that. But people forget I still have a bunch of Jackson Holiday future, so I'm hoping he makes a miraculous recovery. But not happening there. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, this Wyatt Langford is just a lesson to if you have a couple extra bucks in the bankroll, these guys who open the season as a favorite, it might be worth betting them at 100-1 because Langford just didn't have any power at the beginning of the year. We saw that with Julio Rodriguez a couple years ago. Same sort of thing. He gets hurt, comes back. Now he's hitting grand slams and triples and
Yeah,
really batting in the fourth or fifth spot for that Rangers
I
lineup.
put I
So
put $3 on him, 25-1, and I was like, kind of like, this is throwing money away, but whatever. And now I'm really glad I did. Not that I just wish I put a lot more on it. But I think it's a word. Trying to a word of advice for us in the future to just trust the guys that we know. Like Skeens, we knew he was probably the best player. We just didn't know if he would like get the reps. We still don't really, but I think going forward, I'm just gonna trust the guys that are probably dudes. Like I don't regret betting Holiday because he kind of came in with that hype too. Um,
yeah,
but I'm not gonna get cute with it.
yeah. And even one person on the NL who I really like a lot. Where is he on the board? He's down at 75-1. James Wood of the Nationals. He's only been up for I think like 10 or 11 games.
He's
Too
good.
late in the season for him to win. He's going to be good though. I think he'll be. I mean, I have all these rookies we talk about. He's going to be better than Michael Busch and Joey Ortiz, Mason Wynn. He's going to be probably better than Jackson Merrill in my opinion. So, just not. It wasn't brought up, and it's not going to win the award.
Yeah. Speaking of Michael Bush, do we want to talk MLB All Star snubs?
Yeah, he's not a snub, but
Yes, he is.
go ahead.
How is he not a snub?
Dude, yeah, I know his metrics look good, but they would never bring he's no.
I think he struggled at the point in time when the metrics or when the voting was like at its peak. But if you went off of today, he is having look at Pete Alonso and him side by side. And what is Pete Alonso better than him at? He probably has what, a few
That,
more home runs?
yeah, that's true.
Pete Alonso is hitting 240 with a 320 on base, hitting 22% above league average. Michael Bush is hitting 275, a 365 on base, hitting 34% above league average. And he just had an RBI double. Bush has a 2.4 WAR, Pete Alonso 1.1. So you can make the case. Maybe there's somebody else I'm forgetting that has a better case than Bush, but Bush has a better case than Alonso. Alonso's only in because he's doing the home run derby.
Well, and that thought, maybe Bush should be. Why is he so far down the odds boards on NL Rookie of the Year? Maybe why is it? Because he's at 38-1, but Jackson Merrill's at plus 340. So what's the difference there?
I don't know. He should be a lot higher up than he is. I mean, that might be some value, but it's not going to win. So I'm not going to I already have money on him too at like 30-1. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he's 1 for 2 with a walk, 2 RBIs, 2 runs. I mean, he's up to 277, 368, 480 slugging. He now leads the team in slugging ahead of Sia Suzuki. He's our best hitter.
Man, the Dodgers could really use a guy like that this year
Yeah.
with all their injuries. Hate to see it.
A guy who can play first, second, third, man. Gavin Lux, though.
Yep.
The guy the Cubs traded, that was like the top prospect. He has like a 4.7 ERA in single A. So, it's
There
looking
you
good
go.
for us right now.
Only time will tell. Terang for the Brewers probably deserved to get in.
Yeah, he's probably the biggest snub of them all.
Yeah, Nimmo and Lindor. Some people are arguing them for the Mets. I don't know. I didn't have a huge problem, I guess, with the snubs, but it's never going to be perfect. But yeah. Do you want to crescendo into the home run derby? You got any picks?
I am going with America's least favorite man, Marcell Ozuna. I
Ugh.
I don't want to bet it, but I feel like his market is so long because the books know that no one's gonna bet on him. No one wants him to win. All the money's gonna go to everyone else. Like Alonso 3-1. That's probably fair, but it's kind of boring. This is what his ninth
He's
time
won
doing this.
twice. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he has the advantage. He's done this before. He knows what to expect. He's got his pitcher for it and everything. So I'm sure he deserves to be the favorite. But if you're just going off raw
Oz-
power, Bobby Witt and Jose Ramirez are the only two that I would say are bad bets.
So Jose Ramirez right around 12 or 13-1. Bobby Witt 6-1. Ozuna is around plus 380 on DraftKings, but plus 340 on FanDuel. So I guess if you want Ozuna, you probably should bet that. What do you think, sooner rather than later, or do you think that people aren't going to bet him, so it's going to fade a little bit?
I don't know.
It's kind of
I'm
hard
not.
to tell.
Yeah, I would also be okay with throwing a couple bucks on Bomb 16-1 just because the home run derby setup is kind of odd. I don't know if it's like a bracket.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, they have the top. All 8 guys are hitting. It's like a maximum, I think, of 40 swings. Um, and the top 4 guys advance into like a bracket play, 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3, and then they go from there. So the thing with Alonso and I guess Ozuna and Garcia, I mean, it's hard. All these guys can do it, other than
the two I
I guess
mentioned.
maybe the
I
two
don't
guys.
think
Like
Bobby Witt can do it.
you get the bonus for a 425-foot home run. I just think like Alonso and Ozuna can do that so much easier
Right.
than Jose Ramirez. Jose Ramirez, elite hitter, but he's not trying to hit it 500 feet. He's just trying to hit it 375 every
And
time.
doing it repeatedly,
Yeah.
the fatigue factor. I just feel like Ozuna and Alonso can do a half swing and get it out.
Yeah. That's cool. Well, my picks, I'm going to be betting Alonso and Henderson. So I should probably, if one of them wins, I'll probably win between like 1 and 3 units, depending on how it goes. I just think it's going to be one of those two. I'll be rooting for Gunnar and Bobby Witt though, for sure.
Yeah. I want Gunnar to win. I'm gonna look at the bracket before I start placing bets. I just think that with that setup, 16-1 is a really long number, considering you only have to be better than the guy you're going against to advance. It's not like it's you got to be top 2 out of 8 or anything like that. Like you just got to beat the guy in front of you. I think that
Yeah,
helps
and
his odds.
if you bet Bohm at 16-1 in the past, or I guess last year, DraftKings has put up live bets for that once it gets to that bracket section where it does matchups. So at the commercial break, if you want to bet, hedge and lay like minus 250 that Alonso's going to beat Bohm, then you could attack it that way too.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And then lastly, MLB Draft is Sunday. Do you want to give us like a minute long synopsis, I guess, of what we can expect at the top of the board? I know you've kind of been looking
Yeah,
into
the
it.
Guardians have the number one pick. They are they're kind of weird because they do that small market crap where they're trying to get like the best value and then they spend more later down the board because the MLB draft is weird. Um, there's like slot values and you can go over slot, you can go under slot, but you have like a budget you can spend for like your first, I don't know, handful of picks.
Yeah.
Um, long story short, the number one pick is looking like it's going to be this guy from Oregon State. Was it Travis Bonanza or something like that? And he's got what they call like a really good hit tool, Bizana. Um,
Yeah.
he's a second baseman, so like he's not going to hit for a ton of pop, but he's just a good hitter. And then, but the guy that everyone thinks is the best hitter is that Charlie Condon or whatever from Georgia, the outfielder. He's projected to go number 2 to the Reds, so it sounds like another guy that's going to be a pain in the Cubs' rear end for a while. But I guess the Guardians want to go cheap, so they're going to take this Charlie Condon 2, and then our guy Jack Caglione 3 to the Rockies. The only fun part about that is maybe he'll hit some like 600-foot homers, but after the top 3, it kind of turns into a crapshoot. The only other guy with a chance to go number 1 is JJ Weatherholt from West Virginia. For whatever reason, the Guardians really like him. They have a really good scouting department, so I won't question it too much. But I know within the scouting community, he is not viewed as one of the top 2 or 3 players. If he doesn't go 1,
Yeah.
he's going to go like 6.
Yeah, it's interesting because my understanding is like if you go cheap at 1, then in rounds like 7 through 10, you're more likely to get the guys you want
Mm-hmm.
to come into your program. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either way. So right now, like you said, I guess we both probably think that it's Bazana out of Oregon State. He's minus 160. I'm not betting that though. Dude,
No.
last year I lost way too much money on, I think I bet Holiday to go 1. It was Skeens, and I bet Cruz. That was
Holiday did
nightmare
go 1. You're
fuel.
thinking of the other year. It went Holiday, Skeens. The year that Holiday went 1 was the year everyone thought Drew Jones was going to go on, Andrew Jones' son.
Oh yeah. So, okay. Yeah, I've
And then
lost
last
2 years in
year
a
was
row then.
Skeens
Yeah.
versus Dylan Cruz. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
the MLB pipeline guys, their projections are like Bizana to go 1 is like around 40-ish%, Condon around 25%, and then Weatherholt around 25%. The field is like the remaining 10-ish%. So yeah, I mean, I've been able to see a minus 150 for Bizana, but still, that's not the implied odds and what they're saying just don't line up.
Yeah.
So if anything, put it on Condon or whatever at 11-1 with a 25% chance of winning. I'd rather do
Yeah,
that.
I think that's the most value for sure.
So you'll probably lose money, but it's the right strategy. All right, I think that's all I've got. I don't know who the Cubs are going to take, but hopefully, someone who doesn't
Yeah.
suck.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, they pick 14th, so kind of in the middle. Not going to get like a blue chip guy probably, but never know, I guess. I don't think this draft is very deep from what I've been told, so
No.
we'll see. Speaking of not having a deep draft, NBA was a few weeks ago. I cleaned up that pretty nicely. If you want to check out my mock draft database, I have that linked as well. Hopefully, you tail my picks last year or next year, because this year I won 15 units, so super happy with that. But free agency just happened as well. And you texted me this morning. You said you have a lot of thoughts. You have 3 losers of the NBA offseason, and then we have a couple other topics to get to. So We're already 35 minutes in, man. We gotta get cracking on NBA. We still have a few other sports here, so let's get into it. What are your
Well,
three
I
losers?
think we batted 1,000 or 100, whatever you want to. We'll go with 1,000 on last year's all disappointment team. So
Hmm.
I think maybe I'm just feeling overconfident. I'm not trying to be hot takey when I say this, but the number one loser in my mind from this offseason is Jalen Brunson of the New York
And
Knicks.
when you text me this, I didn't understand this at all. So please enlighten me.
Well, let's see. The Knicks traded for his buddy, McCall Bridges, his teammate from Villanova. They now have a very expensive roster. They paid OG and Anunoby too. They lost a glue guy in Isaiah Hartenstein. I think he's with Oklahoma City. They gave him a pretty good payday. He's a solid player. I don't know what they're gonna do with Julius Randle.
He's got to play center, which doesn't work.
Yeah, so
So
I'm guessing he's gonna get dealt. I really don't know. Free up cap. I'm not sure, but I know right now what I'm saying sounds kind of silly, but just hear me out real quick. So whenever a guy has like a breakout season in their careers, or like they're kind of viewed as an underdog because he's a shorter guy, he wasn't the high draft pick, all of that, he becomes easy to root for. You never will hear a Jalen Brunson hater. I'm not a Jalen Brunson hater. I know he's I know I appreciate him being a tough guy and leading the league in minutes and games started this year. Um, but it's a new phenomenon and he hasn't really accomplished anything yet. And until a certain point, that's almost used as like a way to keep you likable, is that you haven't gotten to a stage where you've really failed. Um, but I think it's going to start to turn into criticism because there's not going to be the excuses anymore when he's got all these guys around him. They're going to have what, 4 all-stars on their team. But
So, I mean, what if they make the Eastern Conference Finals? That's a win, right? Is that what they need to do
well, I was just going to
to
ask you,
avoid the
did
criticism?
McCall Bridges make them? What was the point of that?
To
Did they
get
actually
Villanova guys, man.
exactly? Is it a feel good story or is this a good basketball move? Because
They
I
gave
don't.
up five. They gave up 5 first-round picks for a guy who is not. He's good, but you just have a bunch of these like auxiliary guys, and if you don't think Brunson is a one and he should be like the best two in the league, I guess that's your issue.
Bridges got a lot of that hype last year post trade when he was first with Brooklyn. He played like 30 games with them. He averaged 26, 27 points. Everyone started being like, oh, he just needed to get away from these guys to kind of show who he is, blah, blah, blah. Well, then this year, he was the number one guy and he scored 19 points. They were completely terrible. Um, he fell off basically. And so that right now the Knicks have the third best odds in the East. And even if they get through, let's say injuries happen, they get through the East, they get past the Celtics. I don't know how that would happen, but let's say they did. There's still 3 teams in the West that are probably better than them. I and they don't they like I said, they give 5 first-round picks. They don't have a second-round pick this year because they tampered with Brunson to get him in the first place. His contract is still great, but I've never seen someone with his archetype, that size, that skill set, sustain that for multiple years in a row. Maybe 1 year, maybe 2 years. Who have we seen at his size who's not a deadly shooter sustain that for a long period of time?
I don't know,
Leading
but
the league in minutes playing for Tibbs. He got banged up in the postseason. They would have had like 3 rounds to go.
they were 1 game away. They lost in Game 7
Of
in the
what? Oh,
semis.
sorry, they would have had 2 rounds to go to win it
Yeah,
all.
to win it all. Yeah.
So
But
like,
all right, I'm looking at his contract here, and yeah, it's 4 years for 104. Great deal, but he has 1 year left until he's a player option. He's gonna opt out
yeah,
as long as it's whatever. Then you got to pay him 40 million. So then at that point,
they're never
that's
going to win
probably not
anything.
good.
It feels like they
No,
blew their load on McCall Bridges because it's Brunson's buddy, and then and again, I know I'm not even talking about him as a player. I think he's great, but I don't think you can expect him to sustain a top 5 level like he did this year, and then also think, oh well, next year OG Anunoby will be healthy, and Mitchell Robinson will, who never stays healthy, will step up for Isaiah Hartenstein, and Josh Hart will be as good as he was this year, and DiVincenzo, who was a scrub with Milwaukee, is going to stay at this level. The Knicks are going to end up plateauing as the same team. It's the same success that they had this year, and then suddenly everyone's going to be like, well, Brunson, he's got all these all-stars around him. He's got all these guys that he brought in, and they're not winning. And suddenly that New York media is going to flip on him, and he's not going to be the little underdog Brunson anymore. It never lasts. People love you until you have a little bit of success, and then they start having expectations for you. No one had any expectations for them last year, and they sucked. That's why New York embraced them so much.
Well, they do have expectations this year. They're now plus 450.
Yeah.
Third best odds to win the Eastern Conference. 76ers, we can get into the Paul George acquisition at plus 400, and then the Celtics at plus 145. That seems kind of like a no-brainer. We can talk about this later, but Celtics plus 145, I don't think they're going to lose.
And we didn't really – and who did they have number 2 in the East?
76ers 4 to 1.
76ers.
The Bucks are 7 to 1. Everyone else 20 to 1.
Yeah, so speaking of the Sixers, I have loser number 2 of the offseason as Ty Lue. He signed an extension. He signed an extension in late May. Obviously, he got paid. He lives in LA, so I'm not feeling too bad for him. But he signed a 5-year extension with the Clippers, and they let Paul George walk for free. They gave James Harden $35 million a year. Kawhi is already banged up and not playing in the Olympics. Did you see who their other 2 big signings were? They said to replace Paul George. Mr. Headache himself, Kevin Porter Jr. Odds of him making it the full season without getting suspended. He's under investigation for I don't know what it was, domestic violence or something. So I don't even know if he's eligible. And then Nicholas Batum, who's got to be 45 years old. So
yeah.
Oh, and Derek Jones Jr., who they just overpaid based off of his run with the Mavs. So yeah, he got a bag. He probably could have gotten a bag anywhere though. I just feel like he's stuck in basketball purgatory. He's not going to compete for anything. You go through the West, even if, let's say, Kawhi's healthy and James Harden's healthy and they play the same level that you expect them to, and they're still not going to be a top 5 team in the West. Probably not. They're going to be a bubble team. They're going to be right there with the Lakers, and Ty Lue, who's supposed to be one of the top 3, 4, 5 coaches, just sold out for money to stay in LA. Granted, he didn't know Paul George was going to be leaving weeks later. So,
yeah,
he could have had other options, I guess, is my point.
Yeah, I mean, they do have they have the new arena, so potentially they're in cap hell. So I don't really know
for a long time.
What they can do. They gave up all their picks. I don't know.
And you let Paul George walk for nothing.
They should have SGA right now, and they should basically have the odds that the Thunder have, plus 350 to win the West, but not the case. So,
and then
I will. Hey, if you wanna come out to a Clippers game next year, they'll probably be like $6. So
they'll probably Venmo me to show up. But loser number 3 is Zach LaVine getting a dose of reality. Turns out that you can be as good of or as efficient of a scorer as you want, but if you don't play defense and you can't pass the ball, no one wants you. He's getting a dose of reality from the rest of the league. No one is wanting to trade for him. The Bulls are going to basically either have to ride it out for another year or just give him away to somebody to take the contract. Even without he has a 5% trade kicker. So if he gets traded, he gets 5%, and he wants out. He is very adamant he wants out. The Bulls want him out. But what team is going to take that contract plus 5%? His own trade kicker is part of the reason he can't leave. So in a way, he kind of boxed himself into a corner. He thought he was going to go to Sacramento. Instead, he sees DeMar DeRozan go to Sacramento. He's just in an unhappy marriage. He gets talked about nationally like he's a lot worse player than he probably is. I know some of it's posturing through the media. He's had just a bad 18 months, but if our buddy Tibbs can't get you to play defense, I don't think anybody can. So like that's just kind of his rep is like he's an elite athlete. He's not short. He has length. Like he could be a good defender. It's a pure effort thing. It's a pure he just doesn't want to do it or doesn't care. He just wants to score points. Um, so yeah, he's in a bad place right now with his career. Um,
Has anyone ever made a three-person loser list where the combined career like estimated earnings are around $600 million? I think they may be losers on the court, I guess, but at least they still
everybody in the NBA financially is doing just fine. Like if you're gonna have a loser list, there has to be a level of like relativity because we all know they're all in the NBA.
yeah.
Being a bench player in the NBA is just fine. I mean, we'd all do it in a heartbeat. My honorable mention though, Donovan Mitchell going back to Cleveland. We all know he did not want to go back to Cleveland. That was not his choice. He kind of saw the writing on the wall that was his best chance to get paid, and he went back.
Yeah.
And he'll probably be doing a Dame Lillard here and trying to push his way out. And or I don't know, he's not going to be happy there in a year or two.
Yeah, I mean, with the cap continuing to go up, he should hit free agency in 3 years again. So I don't know if he's going to stay there the whole time or he'll probably play 2 years there tops and then force his way out. He's going to get paid though eventually too. So
He's wanted to be a Knick
yeah,
for so damn long, and then he has to watch Mikal Bridges go there. So
yeah.
tough scene, but he didn't really make sense there from a basketball standpoint with the roster they have.
Did you like the Paul George 5 year 204 in terms of for the Sixers?
I don't feel like they had many other options. So kind of, I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
think, are they going to win a ring? I don't know. Probably not. But it at
Why
least
don't
keeps
they
them
just
interesting for a couple years.
Why don't they just play Embiid like twice a week and just like get like the 8 seed? Or I
Same
guess
with Paul
you
George.
need the six, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, dude, the thing is, the odds of those two guys staying healthy is about the same as the odds of Paul George and Kawhi staying healthy. The only difference is that you have Tyrese Maxey, who's a pretty good player and can kind of help alleviate some of that. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's I don't know. Second best odds is probably fair. I
Yeah.
think the
I
Bucks.
would
I
not
hate to say it, the
yep.
Bucks at 7-1 or whatever they were is probably where I would go if I'm not going Celtics.
I'm gonna cut that from this pod. We don't
Oh, you're right.
no
You're
but
right. Did you
positivity.
see Giannis's brother requested a trade or some shit?
Was that a joke or is that
No, I
real?
think that was real.
Yes, just send
I saw
him
someone from
back over.
ESPN talking about it. I was like, that's like Bronny Jr. asking for a trade.
Yeah, nobody wants him. But a couple other moves. Klay Thompson to the Mavs, 3 year, $50 million. DeJounte Murray went to the Pelicans, which I forgot about. Klay Thompson thing, I guess. I mean, he's just gonna stand in the corners and shoot threes. The Lakers wanted him. I don't know why. He can't play defense. I love Klay, but that's the last thing the Lakers need.
I was gonna say if we want to do an actual loser, if I want to do a loser list of non-players, can I start with Klay Thompson's dad?
Yeah,
His comments about him not picking the Lakers was like the dumbest shit I've ever seen. If my
Klay
dad did
Thompson.
that, I'd be like, dude, what is your problem? Those comments were
Uh,
just weird.
Klay Thompson's dad was sifting through Caden Proctor's mom's Twitter and got some ideas. That's probably yeah. I don't parents just it's one thing I guess if it's your college kid trying to make a decision, but Klay Thompson is in his 30s. He's 4-time champion. Just stay. You don't even need
His
to go to
dad
his
is
games anymore.
the Lakers play-by-play guy. You can't be talking like that. Like that's just
Yeah, get out
unprofessional.
of here. Yeah, whatever. So yeah, that's the NBA. We'll have some more, I guess, thoughts on this as the season approaches. But Olympic basketball is coming up. Team USA, big favorites to win. But yeah, hopefully they
Cooper
get that done.
Flag balling out. The tank for Cooper Flag this year is going to be real.
Hmm.
I think that's gonna be interesting. It was always kind of fun. Like 2 years ago with Wemby, everyone was trying to tank for Wemby. This won't be at the same level, but no, there was no tanking for any of these picks this last year. No one gave a shit.
Yeah, nobody did. And
Alexander's. I
apparently,
don't even remember who went one already.
in the NBA draft,
Yeah, because Alexander Sarr or whatever went second.
yeah, it was a Richase,
Oh,
Zachary Richase,
all right.
from
Well, like I
France.
said, no one cared about him. He could have gone sixth, and no
No,
one would have blinked an eye.
that's true. But if he did go six, that'd be rich. But anyway, um, yeah, let's stay on the Olympics topic for a second. I I don't know if I have the personal, emotional, physical, insert whatever bandwidth to bet the Olympics. I think if we handicapped everything, we put in a couple hours every single day, I think we could make some serious cash. I just do not want to do it. However, I do have a couple plays that we don't have to work hard for. France under 24 and a half gold medals. Add that to the six pack.
Where is that at?
Um,
Where can I find this?
DraftKings minus 145.
Okay.
So, oh, drop my mic. Sorry about that. You gotta pay the juice minus 145. Um, they won 10 in the 2020 Olympics. You think they're gonna win 15 more?
I
So
like
the
that.
only issue though is fencing. They have a lot of good fencers. They could win up to 10 golds in fencing because the judges are all from France. So there's some home cooking involved. So if we end up losing this bet because they have 10 plus gold medals in fencing, I guess, we'll just take the L. But France under 24 and a half gold medals. And then let's go to the 100-meter dash for the men. Kashane Thompson plus 165. So he is an up and comer. He's 22 years old from Jamaica, and he's getting a lot of money. He's getting steamed up to the favorite. Everyone loves to bet Noah Lyles, the USA guy, which, yes, let's root for Noah Lyles, blah, 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 go USA. It doesn't matter. He's not going to win. It's going to be Kashane Thompson. So I'm taking him plus 165. He will, I think, eventually get to minus money or very close to pick him. So I'm taking Kashane Thompson plus 165. So both those on the six pack. France under 24 and a half. Kashane Thompson plus
I can't find this
165.
track one, but I already followed you live here on the number of medals. Dude, I know so little about the Olympics. I don't even know how many medals are given out or how many competitions or sports there are total. The only thing I know about it is that Jimmer Fredette is on the men's three on three team, and they're not the favorite. They're playing Serbia, and they're the favorites.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know much about the 3x3.
But obviously, none of like your best players are going to play in it. Like you're not going to get like your Anthony Edwards to play in a 3-on-3. He's going to be on the actual normal basketball team.
That would be absolutely epic, though. That's like the all reject team. They should put Jaylen Brown on there. Be like, here, are you
Mm.
happy with this?
Quit crying.
One other Olympic thought would be, do we want to bet Iga Swiatek to win the Olympics? It's at Philippe Chatrier, obviously French Open. She's the queen of clay. She dominated. We bet on her to win without dropping a set. She lost one set to Naomi Osaka. So tip your cap. We didn't win that one. But yeah, Iga Swiatek. I'm trying to find her number. Yeah, she's minus 192, minus 200. Do you think that's worth laying? It's free money. She's not going to lose. She's well rested from her early loss at
Can
Wimbledon,
we
which I
just
can get to.
parlay that with the men's basketball team at minus 500?
Probably not. I don't know who would accept
Honestly,
that.
dude, I would put so much money on the men's team at minus 500. It's free, like you
Dude, I actually disagree. I think I'm going to be betting France and Canada. And
Really?
I don't even. Yes, I'm dead serious.
Who's on
They,
Canada? SGA?
Jamal Murray, Lou
Ooh.
Dort.
Uh,
You didn't watch the showcase last night, and it shows USA versus Canada. USA won by like 15. Um, Jamal Murray was like 2 for 8 for 4 points.
you're
So
right. I
I
shouldn't
don't
be
know.
betting.
It's one game, man. I mean, you get to that group or get out of the group
Yeah,
stage, and then you get to the final four, and anything can happen.
you're
So
right. There's no bigger US basketball hater than me. Typically, I keep my hate though at like the younger generation, but
yeah,
yeah, it's hard for me to support American basketball players who are all soft and have just no idea how to play basketball despite their immense skill. So
yeah, I feel you. So no 6 pack plays for basketball. I'm just gonna add Iga. I have to do it. Iga Swiatek -192. To win the Olympic golds. Just do it. You don't have to watch. It doesn't matter. Just trust me on that. Iga's winning the gold. It means a lot to her. And that's why she didn't prep a lot for Wimbledon, which is just wrapping up right now. The women's side, we have Jasmine Paulini against Barbora Krejcikova. I can't remember who I was talking to. I think I was texting my friends because we didn't have a podcast on this, but I was like, some I don't know who it's going to be. I didn't make any bets, but someone who we don't expect is going to win this tournament. Sure enough, Paulini was 60-1. I think Krejcikova was around that same number. They're both in the final. So anyone who has those numbers, good for you. I would lean Paulini in the final, but I'm personally not going to touch that. On the men's side, we got the final four. We got Alcaraz against Medvedev. Medvedev just beat Sinner, who had a little like stomach issue during his match, so Medvedev pulled away there. And then Djokovic, of course, is in the semis against an Italian, Musetti. Um, Djokovic just had the easiest path ever known to man, according to my notes. That's what I said this morning. Hurkacz got hurt. De Minaur got hurt. So in his quarterfinal match, Slade, uh, he was supposed to play De Minaur from Australia. In De Minaur's previous match, the day before, he got hurt on match point. He tore like cartilage in his hip as he won the match. So then Djokovic just got a free walk through there. So he's off extra rest. He'll beat Musetti. Hopefully the finals, Alcaraz versus Medvedev. And if you watched the final last year, went to 5 sets, Alcaraz dethroned him. It was awesome viewing. I'm hoping we get more of the same this year. Even if you don't like Djokovic, these matches going to 4 or 5 sets is super entertaining. My way of betting this though is I'm not sure who's going to be the favorite. I think it's going to be like -120 Djokovic, honestly. Uh, I just want to bet anyone who's plus money, and I'm going to be continuously doing that live. If anyone gets a plus 150, 200, bet it because it's going to go back and forth. There's going to be tons of break points and losses of serve. So I don't think this is a way to get rich, but if you want to make a unit, I think you could do a whole lot worse than betting live on this. Yeah, so those are my tennis thoughts. I'm sure you haven't watched a single second of the tournament.
I've been betting on the Wimbledon $5 every day.
Okay.
I
On
get
the
these
Wimbledon.
$5 33% boosts with MGM. So I just find someone to bet on every day, $5, 33% boost, and I go from there. So I'm not getting rich or anything, but it's hard to not at least come out a little bit ahead.
Sure, sure. Proud of you. Yeah, that's all I got for tennis. If you are listening to this before Sunday, you don't have to watch the women's final. I'm probably not even gonna do that. But the men's final, if it is Alcaraz Djokovic, that's must watch. Djokovic is obviously on the end of his career. Alcaraz right at the beginning at age 21, already has 3 majors. It's kind of a passing of the throne type of moment. So
Are you gonna
I,
cry?
I would check that out. Yeah, I might cry if he wins. Other events in the past couple weeks that we've missed. Davis Thompson won the JDC, the John Deere Classic.
Yeah, that
It was
sucked.
kind of boring. Yeah, he just ran away with it. He was the best player in the tournament by far. He deserved it. Didn't crack under pressure. Um, Yeah, just another guy who got his first career win at the JDC. So good for him. I had Thor Bjornsson, or however you say his name, like 100-1. He made it interesting on Sunday. I know a couple of our other guys like JT Poston, couldn't get it close. Sepp Straka wasn't there. Spieth, he never had a chance. So um, yeah, kind of sucks. It wasn't super entertaining. But yeah. I also, do you have any thoughts on the hot dog eating contest? I didn't watch it because Joey Chestnut wasn't in it, so
Me
little
neither,
little.
but I bet on the guy who was the favorite going in, and he lost. He got second. So I was like, I wasn't gonna bet on anybody, but I was like, well, this guy's the favorite. Usually the favorites win this type of crap, right? So I did it and I lost. I was like, winning on the hot dog eating contest feels great, but there's just something gross about losing on a hot dog eating bet. I don't know. I was like, what the hell am I doing?
So the guy who won, Patrick Bertoletti, Italian guy, he came out of retirement as soon as he heard that Joey Chestnut was out. So that's on us for, I guess, not
Knowing
doing the
our,
research and identifying that. He was 8-1.
you know who would do something
So
like that? Fucking LeBron. He'd be like, "Oh,
yeah,
I can join a super team and just jump in as in the finals. Oh, I
yeah, he
won."
signs on a
He
week
goes
before
up
the playoffs.
against Chris Paul and God,
The,
can't
I
face
don't. I don't want.
MJ, so he's got to go up against some scrubs.
You don't need to get worked up about LeBron. We're past the NBA. What about the Tour de France? You've been watching any of that?
No,
So it.
if you're
I'm
still
actually.
listening, kudos.
Yeah, we've gotten to the segment where, or the part of the podcast where I talk about all my niche sports that I like following. So as you know, I was in France this past year. They're ending it in Nice instead of Paris. So they're ending on the southern coast, just because the Olympics are up there. It's too much to handle. Jonas Vingegaard is minus 125 as the favorite, and Pogacar is even money plus 100. So it's going into the year, or going into this race. Those are the two guys who we thought it was going to be. Um, I don't have a lean right now. Vingegaard won last year, but if I had to pick, I guess I'd go Pogacar. Not gonna bet it. I also don't want to talk about this for 10 minutes because I can. If you listen closely, you can hear everyone clicking out of their Spotify or Apple Podcast apps. So that's enough Tour de France talk. But it is, if you get up in the morning, you want a cup of coffee, whatever, you can turn that on. It's relaxing. So
Speaking of relaxing, can you hear this jazz music in the background?
no, man, you got the noise
Oh,
canceling
damn.
mic.
The Copa America was here yesterday, so our city is full of Colombians and I think people from Uruguay, and there's someone down there like playing a trumpet or something right now. They don't play again till Saturday, but they played Wednesday night and Saturday. So there's just like always people outside by the stadium, just like, I don't know.
Is the final in Charlotte too?
The Saturday game is, yeah.
Dude,
Dude,
you have to go to that.
I've got to get out of town because I can't even like leave my house. I'm like trapped in here.
We'll end the show on this. We'll give our Copa predictions and Euro predictions, even though we don't care. But real quick, as I pull these lines up, the third place game. The third place game is in Charlotte, Canada, Uruguay. You don't have to go
Oh,
to that.
whew.
That's 135
Dude, there was a
bucks. The
brawl
final,
there. There was a brawl there the other night, and I
yeah.
was here sleeping. I didn't feel safe.
Yeah, you're only on like the 20th floor, man. You gotta get apartment higher up.
Mm-hmm.
The final for Argentina Colombia, the cheapest ticket is $2,200. What a complete waste of money. These people in Colombia and Argentina just spent their whole life savings going to
Dude, I
this,
was
but
thinking about that because every single one of them had a jersey. All the hotels were full. They were all eating at the restaurants. Like they were taking photos outside my office. I'm like, they had to spend, I mean, getting flights here and stuff, they had to spend thousands of dollars to come to this.
true, true.
Happy for him, I
Um,
guess.
all right, Spain, Euro final, -152, England +126. Who you got to
Spain.
lift the cup? Spain -152. I agree. And then in Copa, Argentina -174, Colombia +146.
Sorry, Colombia. I got Argentina. You're all going home sad.
And just to add a little bit of spice to this podcast, which whether you like it or not, I do things on this podcast where I don't ask for permission. I'm betting Colombia on the 6-pack +146 to
Oh
raise the
God.
trophy. Dude, Messi's not at 100%. I'm sure you haven't watched any of this tournament, but Brady Ellingson's been texting me left and right about all this nonsense. Colombia +146. They've won like how many matches in a row have they won? It's crazy.
What is the Copa America? Are these the best players? Is this like a meaningful
27,
tournament?
27 matches in a row dating back to I think they're at 29 now. It's for like North America and South America. It's their tournament, and then Euro has their tournament. So Colombia to lift the trophy +146. Give you something to watch on
Do
Saturday.
they
You're
play the
welcome.
winner of Europe?
No,
So then who cares?
it doesn't matter. We're gonna make money. It's
All right.
dumb, but it's gonna be fun.
Soccer is
So
the
that
dumbest sport, dude. It is every day there's a new freaking tournament in a different freaking league, and it's the same players playing in all these different leagues. It's like one day you're playing in the NFL, the next day you're playing in the Canadian League, the next day you're playing the XFL, then you're playing in like some Olympic style football. Like I can't follow it. I don't care anymore.
Okay. Well, let's end the show with this will be less betting and more uh education. Have you heard of the Lamar Hunt US Open Cup? Do you know what that is?
Lamar Hunt, isn't that the owner of the Chiefs?
I don't know if that's the same guy.
I don't
I
know.
have no
Then I
idea.
have no
It
idea.
does I can look that up for you. Lamar Hunt, American businessman. Yes, I believe you're correct. But anyway, so the Lamar Hunt is a knockout competition in men's soccer, which has absolutely no hype. The soccer world does not know how to sell it to the US. Um, but basically 100 professional leagues all throughout, or 100 professional clubs from all the leagues throughout the US are in this tournament. So it'd be like, to explain to you better, this would be like the MLB having a tournament with like the minor league teams and
Oh
minor league
my
teams playing.
God.
So it's these small programs like the Rochester Rhinos and going up against Inter Miami. So Messi could be playing some small team, from wherever. And it's this huge, basically pyramid where you got to try to work your way up. So that'll be going on. And absolutely no one will be watching it, but now you can say you learned about the US Open Cup.
We need to do a moment of silence at the end of the pod for our friends who actually care about this stuff. That you couldn't pay me. I'm sorry.
No, no.
Anyways, can we talk about a real sport for a minute? I want to check on something. Can you
Yeah,
double check for me that
yeah,
the Iowa over 7.5 is on the 6-pack for the season?
yeah, it is. Yes, it is on there.
Can we add Iowa over 8.5 plus
Yes, we
180
can. Yeah.
as the alt win total? I'm sure I'm gonna bring these up again when we do our preseason preview.
Plus 180.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I'm sorry, dude. They There is no way in hell they don't win 9 games. I just don't see it. It would take catastrophic injuries, every bad bounce, some team or a couple teams that we don't know of right now just killing it in the transfer portal and being a totally different team. It's not impossible. It's just Iowa hasn't lost or hasn't had worse than 8 wins since 2014. They won 7. They win 8 games every year. This team is a favorite in 11 to 12. They have a lot of guys back. They have depth at quarterback this year. They have a new offensive coordinator. Their biggest games are at Kinnick. If they don't win 9 games, it's a failure. And you're giving me plus money at it. This should be 8.5 should be the line at minus like 120. So that's where I'm at. I'm gonna drive this point home as much as I can because these numbers aren't gonna last. Veasan, Phil Steele was on. He said Iowa's his favorite over the whole college football season. His absolute number one play is Iowa over 7.5.
Nice.
That made me feel really good. Just he said he didn't see how they would lose more than 3 games, and I agree. I'd be
Okay.
heartbroken if they went 8-4, and I would still hit the over.
Well, we have it on there, and we'll call it good. We will call it good. Hawks over 8.5. They were good to us last year. If we get that 9th win, we'll be sitting nice and pretty. And Slade, honestly, if there's anyone to listen to on this podcast as of right now, it's you. You're up 6.43 units. I'm up 1.62, and for a total of 8.05. So what I want to ask you is, we're almost at our 1 year point. So for those of you still listening, thank you very much. For those of you who joined throughout the ride, also thank you. Our first 6-pack play was on episode 3, and it was given out on 7/27. So I'm thinking, do we want to do a season 2 and archive these units, or do we just want to keep adding on to it? You don't have to make your decision now, but it's something we need to think about.
I'm leaning towards yes. I mean, is there a way we can track both? Like keep an
Yeah, well, I
all
mean,
time, and then we
yeah,
also
well,
have like a season 2, like add a tab on the spreadsheet, S1,
yeah,
S2,
yeah. Let's do that.
and a little indicator, and then anything that I've given for like the upcoming football season, we can just put as an S2. Because I think I've already given out 2 or 3 maybe, so um, that works for me.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Okay,
Each season's different,
awesome.
so
All right, good episode in the books here, everybody. Sorry for the month-long wait, but we'll I don't know if we'll be doing these on a bi-weekly basis, twice a week like we used to. Probably once a week. Once we get to football season, it'll probably be maybe a little bit more. Depends on kind of what we want to do. But yeah, a lot of good stuff coming up. Make sure to check out the 6-pack. Let's try to make some money. So Slade, thank you for joining, man. Get that PS5 set up, and I look forward to playing you in some NC Dub next week.
all right.
Godspeed.